Hey, hello, and good evening. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing okay. Oh, yes. Had a really lovely day today. Had a nice time out today. Really good. Had a lovely time. So, yes. And I'm here now. A bit of technical difficulties, but I'm here. Hello, Paul Scatler. Hello, good to see you. Udrak, you are welcome. Welcome to Liberation Time. I love that. Hi, Paul Scatler, how you doing today? Hope you're doing okay. Blue, yes, Blue. Hey, Blue, how are you? How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Liberation Time. I like that. When you say liberation, liberation from scammers, otherwise known also known as pastors, preachers, scammers, these people are. And now we have people justifying why preachers need private jets. Yes. Now, someone is going to give you reasons why they think pastors should have private jets. If there is a God, and this God truly wants his message sent across, you're telling me that he needs people to fly in private jets. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so just 1 second. Just 1 second. Right, so let's get started. Hello, Indy. Good to see you, Indy. How are you today? I hope you're well. How's everyone? Hope you're having a good weekend and hope you've had a good weekend. For those of you whose weekend is coming to a close, I've had a really good weekend. Really good. Really good weekend. So, yes. And I hope you can hear me okay. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. Right. So let's start. First things first, we would look at a preacher asking his congregation for money to buy a private jet. Because one of the things you're going to hear in this stream, you're going to hear someone give excuse for why it's okay for them to have these private jets. And also, you will hear something like, oh, it could be the pastor's money. Maybe he's invested his money and he's got good returns. Well, whose money is it? Whose money is it that this pastor is investing? Whose money is it? Whose money? So, right, okay, let's go see Creflo Dollar asking for $65 million to buy a jet.
The finances of a church led by a popular televangelist are under close scrutiny this morning. It comes as Pastor Creflo Dollar asks his followers to buy him a $65 million private jet. Mark Strassman is outside the World Changers Church and International in College Park, Georgia. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. This church behind me is like any house of worship. It is nonprofit and tax exempt, but it is also highly controversial, most recently when the pastor asked the faithful to help him travel the world in style.
Dream for the best house. Dream for the best car.
He's a pastor named Dollar who preaches the prosperity gospel. The more you give, the more you shall receive.
Just because the world don't have it, don't mean you can't have it.
Creflo Dollar's sermons pack his 8,500-seat megachurch. His ministry has prospered with satellite churches in at least a dozen states and hundreds of thousands of online followers.
I am the resurrection.
Dollar owns this multi-million-dollar mansion and condo. In March, his website asked the faithful to help him buy something else.
To give contributions of $300 or more.
A $65 million Gulfstream G650 jet, the top of the line in luxury air travel. One church member, Mary Jones, plans on answering the pastor's call, even though she rides the bus 20 miles every Sunday to Dollar's church.
We support our pastor. That's what we're here for. The work that he do and where the Lord have him traveling, he doesn't need a cheap airplane. He needs the best.
But Dollar later took down the video after the jet request was criticized. Former member Shamora Barnard was disgusted.
What's Pastor Dollar's prosperity gospel really all about?
What is it all about? It's about feeding him. It's about him eating. I'm going to tell you whatever I need to tell you to get you to put money in my pocket.
This isn't the first time Dollar's church has been under scrutiny. In 2007, the U.S. Senate Finance Committee investigated Dollar and 5 other televangelists for possible tax abuse. Investigators labeled Dollar as the least cooperative. But in 2011, the Senate abandoned its investigation, critics claimed, under pressure from church groups. We wanted to talk to Pastor Dollar. He declined our request for an interview. But a representative for the church sent us a statement which read in part, quote, all of the ministry's revenues go to charity and/or ministry, with the exception of the salaries and benefits for some 400 employees ministry-wide. Dollar also responded to his critics during a sermon.
If I want to believe God for a $65 million plane, you cannot stop me. You cannot stop me from dreaming.
In Creflo's.
So, if the pastor wants to fly a $65 million plane, you can't stop him from dreaming, because he's got people that are gullible and they would give him money. Creflo is a scammer. Creflo is a pulpit bandit. The fact that these men need private jets goes to show that their God is a failure. And I'll explain why I say so. So, their God wants his message sent to different parts of the world. So this God, who created the universe, created the earth, created the seas, the mountains, the trees, he's so grand. He lives outside outside of space and time. But one thing he cannot do, he can't somehow pass his message across by himself, so everyone gets the message all at once. He needs his representatives to fly in the most expensive of jets to take his message all over the world. It shows that God is a failure. Any pastor that needs a private jet to spread the good news is nothing. Well, first of all, they have never proven this God to exist. The God they speak for cannot or has not been proven to exist. So who are they speaking on behalf of? They're scamming in the name of Jesus. All of them. All of them. You talk for a God that no one knows anything about. They've just made up things about this God and have somehow enriched their pockets for speaking on behalf of this God. Someone said liberation time. It is liberation time. Enough. 65 million. Can you imagine what $65 million can do for communities. And if you think the man didn't go ahead and buy his jet, you'd be mistaken. He bought his jet. He did. He was not dreaming, he was begging. Because he's a beggar, a scammer, and a thief. That's what he is. Hey El, good to see you. If I want to believe God for a $65 million plane that you paid for, of course you paid for it. You paid for it. Hey Phil. Are you there?
Hi.
Oh, hello. You're muted.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah,
hold 1 minute.
Did I change the position of my microphone? Yes, I did. And I think.
Okay. Yeah. I hear a craft floor on his private jets.
How is the volume now? Any good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me?
Yes, is I don't have on my headphone, so I didn't hear.
No, it's Dark Voices ASMR says something is going on with my audio. Did I change the position of my microphone? So can you hear me okay now? Please let me know if you can hear me. And no, if you can hear me okay. I know you hear me, but how does it sound? Elle says, I hate this because, like you said, Esther, can you imagine if we use that money siphoned by churches and temples and whatnot to help the black community, to help communities? Because it's not just black communities, communities just as a whole. Black communities, yes, I agree. Imagine what that money can do for people.
Yeah.
The volume is good, but it sounds like I'm a bit far away.
You are? No, well, I don't
Hang
know
on.
if it's for them. But what happened? You are using the wrong speaker?
I don't
Wrong
know.
mic?
Something, the volume's turned down.
Oh.
How is that now? Any good?
I think that's better.
Yeah, the volume is turned down.
Uh,
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes. So you talk about black. Yes. Okay. I think you're referring to Creflo Dollar. His audience would be black people. Majority of his audience will be black people.
The
So
black,
I
yeah.
understand what that $65 million
I wonder
can do for those communities. Okay, so now before we do anything, I want to show a video because guys, I'm partial when it comes to Africa. I'm sorry, but I'm just partial when it comes to Africa. I'm so sorry, but how have you been today, Phil?
Have been great. As you can answer you the same. There's some lasagna.
Oh yes.
But lasagna without meat. Did it with soya, mint soya, because I can use that, and the nutritionist said they can use mozzarella cheese. So we did that, and we made Karen and I made our own sauce.
Okay, you know what I will do?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Let me go out and come back in. Might just sort out my mic problem.
Okay. Hi, El. Hi, Dark Voices. Paul. Hi, Indy. Welcome, everyone. Blue. Godless. Swin, you Doc. Welcome, welcome.
Okay. You hear me now? Any good?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. I don't. Wait, let me check the. I'm going to check the actual stream and see. So we can talk. I am going to mute my mic.
Okay. This is how I usually have mine. Okay. Oh, that's what it is. Right, I see. Okay, 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 okay. Something had gone wrong. Ah, right, okay. Right. Okay. Should work better
He
than
said.
I think.
He
Should
said that is yeah,
now.
your voice sound clear.
Dull mic sound. How is it now? Should work better
Yeah, a
now.
lot clear. It's very clear. It was the wrong mic, right?
Should be better now. That's it. Have we fixed it?
That sounds a
Have I
lot
fixed it?
clearer. That sounds very clear. That's it, Paul says.
Have I fixed it?
Yeah, you have fixed it. You have fixed it.
Okay, let's have a look at top 10 poorest countries before we look at the video of tonight.
Hey, it's Adam from StreamYard. We have an exciting new feature to announce called Green Room.
Poverty-stricken countries are frequently engaged in political crises such as violence, hunger, and climate change. These are frequently aggravating elements that keep communities stuck in poverty cycles because their economic sources, agriculture, industry, and services, lack adequate infrastructure to sustain their production. Millions of people in these countries are impoverished. It is a concerning topic that the UN has mentioned multiple times over the years. It appears to be an impossible situation to even begin to address, let alone rectify. But what man can do, man can undo. There is still hope for these countries because emerging markets are now catering to many developing countries around the world. So, which are the poorest countries in the world by nominal GDP per capita? Top 10. Madagascar. Madagascar is the world's 4th biggest island, located in East Africa. Its incredible wildlife has inspired several Hollywood movies and documentaries. However,
so guys, what we're going to do is just take, well, for me, I'm going to take note of how many African countries end up on this list.
Yeah.
How many African countries end up on the list of the top 10 poorest countries in the entire world? So this is about the entire world. But I, for one, because I'm partial to Africa, I want to know how many countries in the world turn up on this list. So right, Madagascar, that one's number 1. Madagascar.
So that's at the top of the list. That's at the top of the list. You can hear me?
There?
Yeah, I am here. You can't hear me?
I sound magnificent now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, all right, Phil. Phil, no worries. No worries.
Right, I'm here. You can hear me, right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
tourism alone has not been sufficient to maintain the country. The majority of residents rely on farming and agriculture, but their location makes them vulnerable to natural disasters. In recent years, the country has also suffered violent coups and corruption. Last year, everything changed. According to the World Bank, COVID-19 has caused a severe recession, particularly among those employed in tourism and manufacturing. Worse, the outbreak limited the availability of budgetary resources for critical investments and social programs, putting the goal of more inclusive growth on hold. Top 9. Liberia. Africa's oldest republic is still fighting poverty and has been on lists like this for the longest time. The civil war's end in 2003 provided some peace and stability, but not enough to lift inhabitants out of poverty. Corrupt government bodies failed to meet the demands of its residents, and the 2014 Ebola epidemic in West Africa did not improve matters. When former footballer George Weah was elected president in 2018, expectations were high. Instead, his tenure was characterized by excessive inflation, unemployment, and poor economic development. Although a slight recovery is now expected, COVID-19 will certainly throw a long shadow on the country's prospects. Top 8. Mozambique. The former Portuguese colony has been a constant source of arable land, natural gas, and water for locals. However, the country's growth is hampered by a 15-year civil war that concluded in 1992, extreme weather conditions, and political instability. Since 2017, Islamic militant organizations have terrorized its northern territories as well.
Okay, is poverty synonymous with politics and political unrest?
Yes,
are they synonymous? Is it?
It is.
Most of the countries, well, 3 of them they've talked about so far, have problems when it comes to just these sorts of things. Do they go hand in hand? When the country has political problems and wars and infighting, does that just automatically lead to poverty, or have they just been poor? All this, I think they've just been poor, but then have corrupt. I don't know.
They've been poor. They've been poor for a while.
When the French corporation Total SA won $15.8 billion in funding for a liquefied natural gas facility in the region in the summer of 2020, the largest foreign direct investment in Africa ever. Many anticipated it would mark the start of a new beginning. However, in April 2021, the company announced that it will stop operating indefinitely due to repeated setbacks caused by the development of violent attacks in the area. Top 7. Niger.
Oh gosh.
Niger's economy suffered horribly as a result. Over 80% of their population lives in rural areas where there is no electricity or access to essential services such as hospitals. Political instability and coups have always plagued the country. Even those who reside in cities are frequently found in slums. Nonetheless, the country experienced a remarkable 4.9% economic growth in 2017. Top 6. The Democratic Republic of Congo. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is a country rich in natural resources such as copper, diamonds, and other minerals. The Democratic Republic of the Congo was Africa's second most.
So how are these countries rich in diamonds, rich in all these minerals, natural minerals, and you're still very poor? How?
Because you can hear me?
Phil, I don't hear you at all. I don't.
Okay, hold on.
Or maybe it might just be me.
It might be you. Because
guys, can you hear Phil? I cannot hear
y'all can hear me
at all. Phil, say something. Let's see.
Guys, can you all hear what I'm saying? Can you hear what
you're speaking?
I'm saying? Yes, I'm speaking. Yes.
You're speaking.
Yes.
It might just be me. Hang on.
It is. It's yours.
Let me try this.
I think Africa has been, yes, Doug, you're right. Africa has been exploited for its resources. So the finances. Hi, you can hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't hear you.
The others they are hearing me.
Okay, Phil, you go
Yeah, let
out
me
and come
go
back
out and
in.
come back in. Yeah.
I don't hear him at all. Has your weekend been, all of you? Doug, how are you getting on? Are you still in Norfolk or are you in thing now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No, I don't. I don't hear you.
Hold on.
Just check my my
One minute.
microphone. Everything.
Wait, 1 minute.
Hang on. Let's check settings. Audio.
Settings. Mixer.
I don't hear you. I look nice. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm in a happy mood. Been
All
out
right, can you hear me?
evening, so I'm happy.
Let me try
Gosh,
this
I don't
here.
hear you, Phil. Okay, let me try again one more time. I don't know why.
I don't know what happened. Let's see. Out and out. Let me go back in there. This is something strange happening. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Can you hear me still?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Wait, 1 minute. Hold on. 1 minute. All right, let me switch this back to. Can you hear me now? Come on.
Guys, I'm not sure what exactly is wrong, but I don't hear
know.
him at all.
And
just
then
don't.
they're hearing. All right, some setting.
Phil, I've got no clue what's going on. I don't hear you.
All right, don't worry. I can check. I can check.
Hey, how are you? Hello. How's my
Continue.
Saturday? My Sunday till X.
Someone
Hello.
in the chat just type to her and tell her to
Sunday.
continue speaking.
I haven't been
can't
to
hear
church,
her.
so no Sunday hat for me. I haven't been to church. Hey, Lily. Hello. We're having technical difficulties, unfortunately. I don't know why.
Are you hearing me now? Hello? All right.
Hey,
I can
Wagwan.
reboot. I can reboot. I am going to reboot.
I don't hear you. I don't.
I can reboot. Hold on. I can reboot.
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. This is just terrible. Okay, so africanhumanist, just go ahead. Okay, right. All right then. I will go ahead. It's terrible. Okay, so guys, we have looked at a few countries already in the world. So this video talks about the 10 poorest countries in the world. So we have looked at how many? 5. And guys, all 5 come from Africa. The first 5, all Africans. So let's look at the other poorest countries in the world.
Industrialized country after South Africa at the time of its independence in 1960. It had a flourishing mining sector and a somewhat prosperous agriculture sector. Decades of corruption, violence, and political instability have hampered further growth, leaving the DRC with a GDP per capita and HDI rating that rank among the world's lowest, making the DRC one of the world's poorest and least developed countries. Before we continue to our top 5, make sure to smash that like button. Top 5. Malawi. One of Africa's smallest countries, has made advances in recent years in increasing economic development and enacting critical structural changes. Nonetheless, poverty persists, and the country's economy, which is heavily reliant on rain-fed crops, is subject to weather-related shocks. As a result, while urban living standards are generally rising, food insecurity in rural areas is quite high. Guys, just one second. Let me just one second, guys. Hello? Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Yeah, I think I've changed things around, so it should work now. Okay. So I've turned it on. I'll go what I'll do, I'll go out and come back in again and see what happens. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right then. Okay. Cool. Okay. Can you guys still hear me? Make sure you can still hear me. Right. Okay. Everything is working okay. Okay. Hopefully. So I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what the problem is. Just one second. Had to stream.
Right. Now, the others can hear me, but you can't.
Still don't hear you.
I know.
I still don't hear you.
Hold on. Listen. All right.
Okay.
All right. Right. What you need to do is to go to the bottom.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm
sorry, guys. Just trying to entire screen.
Just the technicals.
Right, so that's my entire screen.
Right, down at the bottom, go over the yes, click on that. Go to the open volume mixer. Okay. All right. Go to speakers. Click there. Let's see. You gotta go to the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to hear me now. Man, sorry, I got on mute. You should be able to hear me now.
I do not hear you. Hang on a sec.
You have on headphones?
Yes, I do.
You have the headphones plugged into the laptop?
Yeah, it's plugged in now, but still don't hear you.
It's going to take a little... Alright. You should come up. It should. I don't know what's happening there.
Oh, my earphones are gone. I think it might be my earphones are gone. I don't know.
Unplug the earphones and if it come through the laptop.
Okay.
You're right. It's not coming through your laptop.
Nope.
Oh, that's strange. Okay. What you might need to do is reboot. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I can do that. If people don't mind, I'll reboot and just go back out and come back in. I mean,
right.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do that quickly. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be all right. Okay. That's and this computer is quite fast, so.
Yeah, it's very fast.
Should be able to hear me. Everyone in the chat can hear me, right? I don't think she was running it on Bluetooth, Dark Voices. Oh, the Dark Lord did it. Oh my gosh. Dark Voices said the devil did it. Huh?
Tell Dark Voices. I may not be in the stream, but I'm keeping an eye on him.
Dark Voices. I still say she may not be in the stream, but she's keeping an eye on you. So be careful. Be careful what you say. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. God watches everything. God sees everything. Oh my gosh. Something running on Bluetooth. It's your show, no Phil. Do your thing. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. But as to the the series you downloaded is sonar. It wasn't on, right? What you can do, if anything, is turn that off before you, or when you come into the stream, you might need to check your settings in the actual stream and see an audio. Right, you might need to check, because I could hear you, but you can't hear me. You might need to go into the stream, the audio in the stream, and select the speaker. It might have switched. That might be the problem. Okay, so go where? We'll come back into the stream and go into settings at the bottom. When you come into the stream, go into settings at the bottom, and then look at the audio and check your speaker and see if what is selected. That might have been a problem where you're not hearing me. We all could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. And if Doug or anyone came on, you would not have heard them, because it might be in the audio of your settings that you need to switch the speaker in order to hear. I don't know why that would have switched out. Okay, let me try this now. I don't know. Right, you're in, good. Okay, go to the settings below, next to stop cam. Check audio.
Settings.
Go to audio. Yeah, settings. Audio. What do you see there on the speaker?
Everything's all set properly. I don't know.
No, look at the speaker. On the speaker, what do you see?
Hang on a second. Hold on a second. So why is it not coming through here? Any good?
If you click the down arrow, you see a bunch of available settings on the speaker.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right, now select one, and if you have it on, if you have the headphones connected to the laptop, you might need to select speakers, Realtek audio.
Realtek audio. So which one should I
try speakers, Realtek audio.
I've done that.
Okay, can you hear?
No.
All right, try another one. What else do you see
there? So the other ones are just my microphone, default microphone, 4 Rode NT USB.
No, I meant on the speaker.
Speaker. Oh,
yeah,
default.
on the speaker.
Okay. Oh, I hear you now. Shit.
Right, it wasn't selected.
I can freaking hear you now.
Yeah, you see? Thanks to Phil Biotech, guys.
I hear you now. Oh, God.
All right, I get disconnected forward. The Dark Lord could not stop. Guys, she can hear me now.
I'm so sorry, guys.
That's okay. That's okay.
Thank you, guys. I apologize. I don't know.
We don't know what happened. How it switched.
But can you hear me still? Can you?
Yeah,
hear me?
we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. Right. That's why you have me as tech.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
God.
Okay,
I
back to
wonder
the
what
video.
I would do without you here. Jesus Christ. Okay,
Oh boy, yeah, the video. So,
yes.
so the but what you were saying before about the poverty,
Yes.
some of them, yes, were in poverty before,
Right.
but what compound the problem is the corruption within the
Right.
country and the
Okay.
politicians' corruption and the wars.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the politicians did what they were supposed to do, if they had focused on building the country through education and try to get budget in place where they try to get education, educate masses, it will help move a lot of persons out of the poverty line and strengthen the country. The stronger a country has in terms of middle class society, the more better they're able to deal with economic situations.
Right.
And that's why the Barbadian government, the first prime minister, he focused on educating the masses. He said, educate the masses, spend a third of the budget on education to get people to create a middle class society where the country, because we don't have much resources, right? Our resources are our people. So that strengthened the Barbadian economy, despite we having challenges.
Okay, there's something happening now that I don't understand. Hold on. Hold on. I still hear you.
Right, you can still hear me.
But when I play
But
the
you
video, I don't
sharing?
hear anything on the video.
Did you go to Chrome or you went to entire screen? Because if you go to entire screen, you will not hear anything. You have to go to Chrome.
Okay, hold on a sec. Let me share the video and let's see what happens.
Or send me the link.
Let me try because I can't hear the video.
And enacting critical structural change.
I'm hearing the video.
Poverty persists, and the
All
country's
right, pause a minute.
which is heavily reliant.
Can't hear the video.
You can't hear a video. Oh, go back to your settings.
Settings in where?
In the stream? Same setting that I told you, yes. Audio. Or what you might need to do, listen, just relax. Go down to the bottom of your taskbar, go to the sound controls.
I don't usually have this problem. Hold on.
Yeah, I know. Something but
working.
Go down to the bottom, the sound audio. If you go to the thing, you might have it might be turned down.
Go where?
Down to the bottom, oh gosh, to the speaker, speaker thing at the bottom of your taskbar.
Yep.
Right. Is when you open the audio mixer or speaker settings, is Chrome turned down? Is the volume on Chrome turned down?
No, it's up.
It's up.
Yeah.
So the speaker.
You know what, guys? This is just doing my head in.
Share that screen again. I want to share the sound problem is not. Share the screen.
1 second, just let me choose your input.
Right. It's not your input, it's your output. It's your output device.
So my output would be.
Your output is what you have as what do you have as your output? Your output is default, or you have it as.
Can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think I've sorted it out now.
Okay, all right, play. Press
Yeah.
play and let's see.
Guys, I'm so sorry. The Trusty Ape podcast. Good to see you. Trisha. Hey, Trisha Curry Stoops. You are absolutely welcome. She said, Alan Parr is a fraud. And I knew that a long time ago. All evangelicals and conservatives and Republicans are one big cult. I completely agree with you. And I actually think that Alan Parr is making excuses for his friends, the people who, because Alan Parr is making money from this thing.
Yeah,
Also
wants to
making
make
money
money.
from his claims of Christianity and God
Mm.
and all the whatever he
Mm.
does here on YouTube. He has almost
Mm-hmm.
1 million. He's close to 1 million subscribers, so he must be making some cool cash.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, guys, I'm so
Press
sorry.
play and see if
Oh, Dark
it's
Voices
can
has
hear it.
to run. I'm so sorry. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. Oh, yeah, let's get back to this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes StreamYard switches my default output to my, if I'm not wearing
Oh,
headphones, it can be frustrating. That must be what must have
oh,
happened, because
happened,
when
right,
I turn off, when I log out, I don't touch anything. I just turn
right.
off and that's it. I don't touch anything. So I don't know what happened to it.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, the Trusty 8 podcast. Hello. Haven't seen you here in a while. Okay. So let's go back to,
Right.
let's see here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just looking at the poorest countries in the world. We're halfway through this video.
Rain-fed crops is subject to weather-related shocks. As a result, while urban living standards are generally rising, food insecurity in rural areas is quite high. The government's critical challenges, including increasing exports, improving educational and health facilities, confronting environmental issues like deforestation and erosion, and dealing with the HIV/AIDS epidemic in Africa. Top 4. The Central African Republic.
Gosh.
The Central African Republic, which is rich in gold, oil, uranium, and diamonds, is a very wealthy country populated by very poor people. However, after claiming the title of the poorest country in the world for the better part of a decade, this country of
Wow.
Streaming can be tricky, and sometimes trying to find the right sauce.
Only 4.75 million people is beginning to show signs of improvement. The economy is also benefiting from the partial resumption of diamond sales, which were discovered to be backing interreligious armed organizations and were placed under the international ban in 2013. Despite this, the government has struggled to reestablish.
Did he say religious?
Yes.
Armed organizations.
Armed organizations, yes.
Religious.
Just
armed organizations, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sales and has only seen a fraction of the money it formerly did, while around 70% of the population remains impoverished. To make matters worse, the government's lockdowns and other steps to limit the spread of the coronavirus forced many families to stay at home, preventing them from earning a living.
Wow.
Top 3. Somalia. Despite 2 decades of civil war, Somalia's economy has survived as an informal one, relying primarily on livestock, remittances or money transfers from outside, and telecommunications. The United Nations classifies Somalia as a least developed country, with the majority of its people relying on agriculture and livestock for a living. 3 decades of internal violence and conflict, frequent droughts and floods that result in food insecurity and displacement, a lack of access to health services combined with the rapid spread of communicable diseases and massive levels of unemployment, particularly among young people, have left Somalis despondent. This 60 million person country in the Horn of Africa never seems to get a break. An anticipated GDP rise of more than 3% in 2020 was blocked by the coronavirus pandemic, an infestation of locusts unmatched in modern times, and intensified floods, causing the economy to collapse by 1.5%. However, according to the World Bank, Somalia may have a brighter future. Rapid urbanization, increasing use of digital technologies, and planned investments in areas such as energy, ports, education, and health can promote economic growth and job creation. Top 2. South Sudan.
South Sudan.
South Sudan's economy is one of the most reliant on oil in the world. Despite having abundant natural resources, such as exceptionally fertile agricultural land and a large quantity of livestock, including approximately 60 million cattle, sheep, and goats, political insecurity, poor governance, and corruption continue to stymie progress in the world's youngest nation. South Sudan is largely undeveloped. Most settlements lack power and running water, and the country's overall infrastructure is insufficient, with only 10,000 kilometers of paved highways. Top 1. Burundi. Burundi is a landlocked, low-income country in East Africa that ranks among the world's poorest nations. More than 65% of the population is in poverty. According to the 2018 World Food Security Report, Burundi has the highest hunger score and is the world's 9th food security crisis, with levels comparable to Somalia. In a country where the total yearly food output would only cover 55 days per person per year, more than half of the population is chronically food insecure. 1 in every 3 Burundians requires immediate humanitarian aid. Burundi has the highest frequency of crime.
So, there are 10 countries, right? Madagascar, Liberia, Mozambique, Niger, Congo, Malawi, Central African Republic, Somalia, South Sudan, and Burundi. What's the common factor with these 10 countries?
Poverty.
What's the common, what's the
poverty?
What's the one thing they all got in common?
You know, they all got poverty in common.
Apart from poverty.
But instability,
all of them, all 10 of them.
Instability and political instability.
They're all African.
All
those 10 countries are all African.
Yeah.
So see why I'm partial when it comes to Africa. Now, but for some reason, these people who fly in private jets have this God, right? Who is big, mighty, strong, he's all powerful, all knowing, he's omniscient, he's omnipotent, he's omni everything, right? But somehow people are going hungry. And
starving.
His representatives, they're getting richer. So God is sitting there watching people starve while his representatives are making money and flying private jets. And Phil, you know the worst part? Do you know the worst part of this war is that these pastors will go to these poor countries in their private jets because they think that these people, they're all going to hell because they have not got the right religion, they've not got the right version of their Christianity, and that all these poor people are going to hell. So they will fly those private jets to these countries to go and proselytize, or they say they're doing crusade, they're doing the Lord's work. You know? So anyway, let's go and hear Alan Parr tell us why. Phil, you wanted to say something?
Right, and the thing is, they go do these things, and people they rate the people take money, as I said, very little money from persons. They don't just go in the private jets; they actually take money from the poverty that are already in poverty, and those persons, they are taking advantage of them because these people are desperate and think that, and they tell them, oh, God will prosper you, God will thing, you just need to have faith in him and give yourself over to him and he will bring you out. And a lot of them go that route and don't ever get out of their poverty because they're believing in this imaginary sky daddy that doesn't exist or look for them.
The Trusty Abe podcast is God would smite. I wish he would. But he's there just watching them do all these things in his name. So it's either he doesn't exist or he's just useless. It's either he doesn't exist or he's just useless. Now check and see how high those countries rank. Dark Voices, come on. He says, now check how high these countries rank for religious beliefs. I bet
Yeah.
okay, you know what?
Yeah,
Hang on.
should do that.
Let me do something. Let me do the most religious countries. Religious countries in the world. Okay, let's have a look.
Yeah.
God. Oh, here we go. Of course. Of course. But of course. Look. Right. Let me share.
Yeah, share your screen.
It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
That
Yeah.
Voices ASMR. Thank you for just it's gonna break your heart. Let me tell you. Let me show you what came up. So Somalia is one of the poorest, right?
Well, they were among the yes.
Yeah. So Somalia we've got here. Niger is one of them. Niger, right?
Yeah.
We don't have Ethiopia here, do we? Malawi is one of them. So Malawi is one of them. Yes. Burundi, of course. Burundi was on that list. Burundi.
Yeah.
What else?
But you see the percentage. You see the percentage.
God.
98.
Few religious. 99.8.
But Sri Lanka is in a mess too. Bangladesh is poor.
Egypt.
Ethiopia have problems too.
Egypt isn't on this list.
Egypt is there to the bottom there. 12.
No, what I mean is Egypt is not on the list of top 10 poorest, but already there's 4. There's 4 here. Gosh. Senegal.
And what I'm looking at is
Nigeria is there, of course. Malaysia. Okay, you're looking at the percentage, yeah?
Yeah, the percentages are high. And this is saying you. And Cameroon, all of these still have their and look, most of them are African countries.
Look, the Congo, that one's here as well.
Yes, that's there. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's there. So we've got 5 on this list.
Yeah.
Uganda.
And the 94%.
Tunisia. Sudan.
Sudan is there. Yeah. See, high percentage, very high.
Tanzania, no, we don't have Tanzania here. Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast, Angola, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Mozambique. Do we have Mozambique? Yeah, Mozambique is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
generally
we get what is happening here. It looks like the countries that are the poorest, not the poorest, sorry, but the countries that are the top poorest countries, you find that most of them are deeply religious countries.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but even some of those other countries listed there's a lot of poverty.
I'm so heartbroken.
And a lot of those listed in those top there, Brazil has slums and a lot of poverty. Mozambique, Dominican Republic, a lot of them are in deep poverty. Even though you have the first 10, but you have a lot of these. But if you look at the first 50 countries or so that have that are on the top 50 for poverty, a lot of those and end up in that top list.
Of course. I mean, you know what? This is some conversation that we should have at some point, okay?
Yeah.
Why are the happy countries least religious, the poorest are, what's going on? So that's something we should look at. And Hawiya, if I'm not mistaken, Hawiya, you're from Somalia, right?
But
Hawiya,
also,
if I'm not mistaken, please correct
yes, Somalia. But also, what you need to look at, a lot of these countries, if you check their educational levels or education, very educational level is where the government is very poor. And then you find there's probably some relationship between the educational level and religiosity. So, for the most part.
Hey, Kweli Kush says, I want to move to Africa, but which country? Interesting. I personally would not recommend Nigeria.
No.
I would not recommend Nigeria at all.
No,
I like
at
Ghana.
all.
Ghana is okay. I like
fairly
Ghana.
okay.
Ghana, yes, maybe.
Yeah,
but,
even though they're religious, but you find that they're more
I can
stable.
still,
They're kind of more stable because there's not that, you don't have, it's mainly Christian money, but there's not, this northern part is Muslim and applying Sharia law, and then
Hawiya
they're a bit
reckons
more stable.
Hawiya reckons probably Zanzibar. I've got nothing about. I know nothing about Zanzibar. Nothing. So I wouldn't.
And I hear Rwanda is economically more strong than the others, and this seem, I don't know, is it education? If you check education, probably more educated. So,
It was an educated guess, and you guessed absolutely right. Dark Voices ASMR. Hey Baran, hello, good to see you, Baran. Okay, so let's go and see why pastors need private jets. Oh no, he didn't say they need it. Why? Okay, I'll let you guys watch. Let's go have a look. Okay, so why I believe pastors can have private jets and be filthy rich. When I started this stream, I started this with Creflo Dollar asking his congregation for donations to buy a $65 million private jet, right? Because what these pastors will try to claim is that the money is not the people's money. The money is not from the congregation, that they invested in good business and they did well. And so now they're reaping the benefits, which is a big fat lie.
It's a big fat lie because they're using the people's money. Even if they invest, they're using people's money invest by people are not getting returns. So it's still a lie.
All right.
Okay, spoiler alert, this video is not only about private jets. There is a much bigger message that I really want you to take away from this video that will become clearer and clearer the closer to the end of this video that you get. Now, over the years, many well-known pastors and ministry leaders have been significantly criticized for owning private jets. And because we know the approximate value or cost of these private jets, many people have written these people off as if they are money hungry, greedy televangelists who are simply exploiting people out of their hard-earned money. Now, hold on for just a second. I promise we're going to get to the private jet conversation in just a moment. But before we do, I just want to explore a few reasons why many people have come to the conclusion that pastors or ministry leaders should not be affluent. And the first one is because they say, well, pastors should be humble. Now, that is true. Pastors should be humble. But the first thing that I'm going to say is humility just reserved for pastors? Or should all Christians be humble? Last I checked, it's not just pastors and ministry leaders that should be humble. Every Christian should be humble. In other words, this idea of being humble and being meek is not reserved for ministry leaders. We are not exempt either. Now, the second thing I want to say about this idea of humility is the fact that nowhere in the Bible does it connect necessarily humility to how much money you.
So here we have a YouTube Christian apologist, right? Coming to give us excuses and reasons why he believes that pastors can have private jets and be filthy rich. Now, Phil, now let me ask you, a God that exists, a God that creates the universe, creates the seas, the mountains, the everything. intelligent designer, right?
Yeah.
All these grand things.
Yeah.
But yet cannot pass his message from one state to another state or one country to another country. He needs the people who represent him here on earth to fly in private jets to take his message. This is God's message, right? The one who created this entire world now has messages. He wants to recruit more people because he doesn't want them to go to hell. He doesn't want people to go to hell. So he needs this message to get to them. Otherwise, they will go to hell. So he needs his people to get in these private jets to go and pass on his message. What would you call that kind of God?
Incapable, non-powerful God that is just he's not really a nice God at all. Because if he's so powerful, why do he need these people to go in the big private jets? Why doesn't he help those who are poor since he's so all powerful? So he doesn't really care, even though he says he loves. It's all about, as I keep saying, he wants his ego stroke. But if he's supposed to be all sufficient, why does he need his ego stroke? Because if I'm all sufficient, I don't need my ego stroke.
Of course not.
Right? So it's all about his ego.
Oh, apparently.
Getting slaves.
Apparently, he created us for that purpose.
Yeah.
He created us because he needs us to worship and adore him and to just constantly just be that's it. Just that's what he created us for. And Quayle says you don't like this YouTuber. He refused to come on my show. Ugh. Anyways, if he does come on your show, that would be interesting. We will be there to watch.
Okay.
We'll be there to engage. Hey, Luciferian.
And
Alan Reyes. Good to see you. Says
that
if
guy.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you speak.
Oh, I was saying that guy, I have heard him before, and his arguments are somewhat similar to G-Man. He's not as nasty, but it just don't hold water.
This is a more educated and richer version.
Yeah.
So if pastors get private jets from side hustles, that's fine. No, but Luciferian, usually their side hustle cannot buy private jets. No, their side hustle. But the capital which they use to start this hustle is usually from church money. Their side hustle, many a times, cannot buy private jets. What is it? They're selling books. Is it side? Is it the books? Is it the tapes? Is it the merchandise? The olive oil and the whatever merchandise they sell. That cannot. $65 million. Creflo Dollar was asking to buy. I don't know how much the other private jets cost, but I'm sure they cost an arm and a leg. Look, the private jet, the whole idea with the private jet is it's not even just about buying the jet. It's about maintaining, about to park your jets alone. Just parking. So Alan says, money from the communities. But to use the money from the community that gave them money to help grow the ministry, which helped the community back, that is fucked up. Absolutely. I completely agree. These are con men. The fact that these people they speak on behalf of a God that none of them, all these jet flying pastors, none of them has ever proven the existence of the God that they claim to speak for, that whose message they're taking across the world. They have never, none of them has given us evidence that this God, look who he is, look what he looks like, and this is what he says. No one has any idea. That's why I know that all of them are scammers, bar none. all of them are a bunch of scammers.
Make, because I know a lot of people who make a ton of money. They're filthy rich and you would never know it, and they are the nicest, most humble people that you'll ever meet. And then I know some people who are flat broke, all right, and they're very, very poor, but they are very, very cocky and arrogant. So to suggest that because someone has a lot of money that they are therefore not humble would not be a proper assessment. Now, the second thing that people will say with regard to ministers is that, you know what, Jesus was poor, and so therefore ministers need to be poor too, because Jesus, if you want to be like Jesus, you know, you can't have a lot of money. Once again, aren't all of us supposed to be like Jesus? Not just pastors, not just ministry leaders, but besides that, when we look at many...
Okay, but this guy's argument is weak. And why it is weak? Any Christian who's listening to this should get angry. You know why? So you and your pastor are serving the same God. You and your pastor have exact same expectations from God. When you die, there's the choice of, it's two options, heaven or hell. So you people are running exact same race. And you're serving God. Your pastor is serving God. But you're getting poorer and your pastor is getting richer. So Alan Parr is saying it's not just the pastor who's expected to be like Jesus, even the followers, the ones who are giving the pastor their money, they too have to be like Jesus. While the pastor is getting rich, off their backs, they go to work, make all this hard-earned money just to enrich these very same pastors who are also called to be like Jesus. But the scripture says that, I think there's the scripture that talks about a rich man. It'd be easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into heaven. I would get angry if I was a Christian listening to this. So Alan is saying that, yes, pastors, yeah, they're rich. They can be filthy rich. The same expectations for them are the same expectations for you, the poor Christian. Hey, never mind. It's just terrible.
Many other Christian leaders or people in the Bible whom God clearly had his hand on, people like Job, people like David, people like Solomon, they were very, very wealthy. And even at times, God said, you know what, if this wasn't enough, I'll give you more. And so this idea of, you know, I should be poor and that will make me more like Jesus is once again just kind of a false assumption. Third thing, preachers should not be rich because many people in their congregation are not rich. Now, for this one, this is an easy one. Listen, pastors are...
boy. Jesus said to give up. It's in one of the Gospels.
Give up everything you have.
Yeah.
And follow him.
Including the money, the whatever.
Wait, hang on, Phil. Just hang on a second. Thanks for pointing that out. But does this not show you that Jesus, what was he thinking? He expected these people to drop everything and follow him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Drop everything, follow him. But he didn't consider that he'll have to feed them.
No,
that he'll have to take care of them. Beg. Right?
Yeah.
But you're supposed to just drop everything, follow him. While they now become a burden to other people.
Yeah.
Him and his disciples now became a huge burden onto others. Forget that people were supporting them.
Yeah.
But if God was so big and powerful, why couldn't he just provide? You know what?
Yeah, like what he
so
did.
Many questions.
He could have made whatever appeared or whatever, but everybody he could have made the food appear if he came to be God or the fish.
No, he didn't. No. God,
but take the fish and multiply.
No. Jesus took advantage of that young boy.
Yes.
So there were 5,000. Listen, listen to this. So Jesus went on a crusade. So you go on a crusade and you're an all-knowing God. So you know that at some point during your crusade, I wonder what on earth Jesus was preaching for that long anyway, that people will be hungry while listening to him.
Yeah.
If people are hungry, tell them, okay, I'm done with my message. Bye-bye. Go and eat. No. Because he's Jesus and has to be dramatic. The only out of everyone there, 5,000 men, and God knows how many women, only one person, one young boy, had food with him. 5 loaves, 2 fishes. And guess what, Phil? Jesus and his crew did not even have the decency to get the young boy's name, right?
Yeah.
And tell us all about him. Without that young boy, everyone there would have gone hungry. They could not even tell. All they said was a boy had this food. Everything starts and begins and ends with Jesus. They could not, because then they didn't even bother to count the women and children. They were irrelevant.
That's true.
So that boy, after providing it the food, right, you would think that they would, okay, tell us who his name is, what his name is, tell us who his mother's name.
Thank him.
You do realize that it is the mother who must have prepared him that morning. Prepared the meal for him, right?
Yeah.
No, they don't care because Jesus has to perform miracles. Jesus took advantage of that young boy.
Yeah.
Peace taker.
She's on.
Peace taker, he was.
Are not responsible for the financial condition of those who follow them, because some people might be rich because they made investments, or maybe they have an inheritance, or they just made good, solid financial decisions. And other people might be poor, maybe because they did not make necessarily the best decisions with their money or whatnot. So once again, that's kind of a false one as well. So now we get to the question, is it right for a pastor to have a private jet? Now, pay attention all the way through, because like I said earlier, you're going to understand where I'm going with this video. And I want to give you 3 questions. The first question is, what could the benefits be for a pastor to have a private jet? Well,
so guys, the benefits.
Oh, wow. But he missed the point, because it's not the problem is not the pastor necessarily having the private jet, it's how the pastor got the private jet.
How he got it.
How he got it. Through
how he's maintaining it as well.
Yeah. Through his parishioners. It isn't like the pastor, let's say, on not getting money, using the money from parishioners, but let's say he was a business person, have his own business, the profits from the business is making profits, and he bought the jet. Well, that's not from the people's money, but these guys are getting these things from the parishioners, from the people who give them money. It's not the money, and then taking the parishioners' money and investing it for themselves. That is even worse.
Okay,
because the tithe, according to the Old Testament, was never
money
for that. It was never money, and then even in New Testament, money collectors were supposed to, or in the Old Testament, was supposed to help the poor people, the stuff collectors, to help the widows and so on. But these guys always twist Christianity.
Yes. Now, the other thing is, I really need to understand something, right? So these jet flying pastors buy a private jet, fly in a plane to go and preach. Where's my Bible now? Yeah, okay, so get the Bible now. Just 1 second. Just 1 sec. Got the Bible here. So this is a Bible, right? And this is the word of God. This, right? According to Christians, this is the word of God. So a jet flying pastor gets in a private $65 million private jet to go and preach from a book that all Christians have. Huh?
Yeah.
Or is there anything special outside of the book? that the pastor is going to preach?
No.
So they all have
Some of
this.
them do.
So they can all read from this, the word of their God.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we now need someone to buy. It makes no sense.
Or to come and preach.
I just don't care what you say. Any pastor who has a private jet is a thief. Anyone, I don't care who.
Yeah.
And secondly, what happened? What happened to economy? What happened to
Yeah.
flying
The
regular
economy.
planes? What happened? Anyway,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's go and hear the benefits of private jet. I'm sure Alan Parr secretly wants his own private jet.
Yeah.
Because he's close to 1 million subscribers. So
this is
think,
Alan Parr.
Yeah, I think the whole idea he wants his own private jet.
Yeah,
his YouTube ministry. His YouTube ministry to
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who he's going to be preaching to in his private jet if he ever has one. Okay.
And where I'm going with this video, and I want to give you 3 questions. The first question is, what could the benefits be for a pastor to have a private jet? Well, the first one is just that, privacy, right? So if you are a public figure, where everywhere you go, people are pulling at you, they're asking you for an autograph, they want to take selfies with you, they want to have time with you, they want to ask you the 50 million questions that they've always wanted to ask you. And you know what? You just don't want to be bombarded with that all the time. You want a certain level of privacy so that you can go where you want to go and not have to necessarily be around.
Sorry.
No. You're right.
Privacy.
See, but no. He is building up to get his private jet. So he wants his privacy. Oh, I have so many followers and they're going to bombard me. So I'm going to need my private jet. That's why they need their private jet.
Dark Voices says Zoom is a lot. If the pandemic taught us anything, it taught us how to have all these meetings and things all on your computer screen. Nobody needs to fly to nowhere. But Phil, let me ask a question though. I thought that God said they should go and preach his gospel.
Yeah.
So if they are in a economic, is that not that opportunity to preach to the people on your left and to your... So why do they need privacy again? Can you tell me?
You know, I don't understand that one. But we need privacy and a private jet. Then Jesus should have conjured a private jet then too. If that's the case.
Okay.
If he wants his privacy, then all they have to do is go to a hotel or someplace private, but not necessarily you don't need to have
a private jet for privacy. Anyway,
right.
Lily says she's on her date and listening in.
Ooh.
And you know the date is not much of a good one. Watching the film. Lilith, what? Listen, tune in to your date. He's not going to be very happy if he knows you're...
Well, he's probably focusing on football.
Oh, right. Okay. Dean says, wasn't it Gandhi who said, I do not like your Christians. They are so unlike your Christ. Even the Christ himself, I don't like him. I don't like the Christ. I don't like the Christ. Instead of spending $65 million on a jet, why not set a program that teaches financial literacy to your congregation?
Yeah.
Financial literacy.
Or create the educational something or the other to educate people to learn how to...
I don't think the pastors want their followers to be richer than them. They want to be the richest. You want to be up there. Right? Okay. Let's... Alan Parr, tell us. This is a very frustrating video.
People who are bombarding your space and not giving you that privacy, that very well might be a valid reason for why you may want to get a private jet. Now, the second reason might be protection, right? So if you're a public figure, you may not want your family to be under that type of scrutiny. You may not want your wife or your children to be constantly around this type of thing. You want to protect them from this outside stimuli. That might be a reason. But this third one is probably going to be the one that's going to convince most people, and that's the fact that for convenience, right?
That's bureaucrat.
If their God cannot protect them,
well,
whatever message they're preaching, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That God cannot protect them. In fact, did you know that Jesus asked his disciples to go and buy knives, swords, right?
Yeah.
Told them to go and arm themselves with swords, knives. So God came down here on earth. God. He was here in the person of Jesus, walking among these 12 people, and tells them to go and buy knives to protect themselves. If God could not, if Jesus could not protect them, don't even bother praying to Jesus for your protection. Because now these pastors, they need private jets to protect themselves. And I'm sure in that private jet, they'll have armed guards following.
Yeah, they do. They have their own private security.
This is just daylight robbery.
Daylight robbery, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. If you travel a lot, I'm going somewhere. If you travel a lot,
yes,
is it more convenient for you to go online and book your tickets, or just to go and get on your plane when you want to and just go and take off, right? I mean, okay, I'm gonna break it down and give you this illustration. For people who have a problem with pastors having private jets, are you riding the bus? No. The reason why you own a car and you don't ride the bus or take Uber and Lyft everywhere is for convenience.
Alan needs
Listen, whenever you want to take
Alan needs to stop. This is very condescending, Alan. Yeah. You really need to stop. And this is pure wickedness, in my opinion. Yeah. Alan is saying, you who is judging the pastors in private jets, but you're not in public transport yourself. You're not using public transport. You're using a car. Alan Parr, they've used their own hard-earned money to buy their car. How dare you?
That's the point.
How dare you? And now, Phil, is it everyone who has contributed money to church that owns a car?
Nope.
What's this guy talking about?
He started talking crap. He's doing equivocation fallacy. That's why
equivocation fallacy.
Yeah, he's equivocating. Serious equivocation fallacy he's making. And the car has nothing. The car, as you just said, people's own are their own money and not using the people from church money for that purpose. To buy their car. Of course, the pastors will buy their own big. Is he going to make now excuse for the pastors having a BMW, Mercedes Benz, and so on? Oh, they have to have their privacy. They don't have to have their privacy in a Mercedes Benz or BMW.
So, on top of the private jet, they'll have the best of cars, the best of houses
too,
the best of everything. These men are greedy.
They are grifters. Greedy and grifters.
Take your family to the amusement park across town. You don't get online and start looking at bus tickets. You got to figure out when the bus is going to come, worried about missing the bus, and you got to go to the bus station, put your kids on the bus, be around people that you may not know, and then you got to get back before the bus line stops running and all this. No, you go to your garage, you get in your convenient car that you purchased, and you go to where you want to be on your own time. Why? Because you decided to purchase a car instead of riding the bus or taking an Uber. So just as you are seeking privacy and you are seeking convenience by purchasing your own personal car, so you don't have to.
Ah, boy, you see how he equivocating, and he's kind of guilt tripping people for saying. I think it's kind of like gaslighting.
No, he's being ridiculous now. He's being ridiculous, and this is
being ridiculous,
rather pathetic. Now, Alan Parr was
pathetic
to do this.
But I told you, he's just like G-Man in that sense, where he does not think, or he thinks he's so smart, but he does not. His arguments are very poor and are very flawed.
He's telling them that you want your privacy, and so also the pastor too. Wait, hang on. Did these people ask the pastor to become a pastor?
Nope.
Did they assign him a pastor?
No.
The pastor would tell you that he has a calling from God.
God, yeah.
God was the one who called him to do his own work. So please leave these people alone. Let them enjoy their privacy. The pastor, you know what? Let's just carry on, please. God. Sorry,
to rely on anyone else. You can go and come when you want. You don't have to be bothered with people if you don't want to. In the same way, that might be a reason why a leader, or anyone for that matter, might want to purchase a private jet. Now you may say, Brother Alan, that's not the same, because a private jet's going to be $60 million, and that's extravagant. Be careful. And now you're starting to see where I'm going with this video. Be careful, because what you consider extravagant might not be extravagant to someone else. And what you don't consider extravagant, someone else very well may. So you might have a $60,000 SUV. And in your mind, that's not extravagant, because you need to have a third row, and you need to have that for your kids to get around, and things like that. But someone else might look at you and say, you know what? You're living extravagantly, because you could have purchased a much less expensive vehicle that still got you from point A to point B. You are living extravagantly because you have a $60,000 vehicle.
Alan Parr, $60,000 vehicle compared to a 65 million. Is this guy? Is he all right?
No, he's not.
Is he okay in here?
No. Clearly not. That's why I told you he made some very bad arguments and serious equivocation fallacies.
Who are the people that listen to this guy?
And then the money is not the pastors take the people money and do it. The so-called tithing and offerings and do that. They grift people. And people struggling. The people that put the money in are struggling.
Yeah.
Seriously struggling, and think that, they'll say, God will bless you because you give this money, and he will take you out of this poverty. And they are in poverty, whilst the pastor is living it up from the people's money and investing for himself and not helping. It's not helping anyone.
Phil, do you know, I heard that some pastors use the parishioners as sureties for loans. They use them. They will get the members to come and put their names on loan thingy. What's called what they call that?
When you mortgage or whatever.
When you put someone as
a surety,
there's a name for it.
The surety.
But when you're not able to pay, then they go after that other person. What do they call that?
It's surety.
Is it? You put? Can you imagine?
It's called a surety.
Do that.
Wow. But SPAC Nation.
Please don't talk about SPAC Nation, please. Please just SPAC Nation.
They're famous for doing that.
Yes, they are quite famous. And GA5524, so much gaslighting. Absolutely.
Gaslighting.
Ian Davenport, please do tell him to shut his trap. Fakinel, hey Fakinel, good to see you. How the fuck did they get away with it? That's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a good
question. Because they use guilt tripping and gaslighting people and carrying them on guilt trips. Because people, they know that people will believe this thing about blessings from the Lord and that God said to give, and then of course they will use about the when Jesus commented on the woman who had the last few pennies and put it in the offering plate, and that she gave more than the rich people and all sorts of things. That was taught in Sunday school to me too when I was in Sunday school about giving. And giving, that's sacrificial giving and all sorts of
sacrificial giving.
Bullshit.
If they tell you give something that will move God.
God, yeah. Or give till it hurts. And
if it does, yes, give till it hurts. If it doesn't hurt, you have not started yet. Give something that will. Gosh, these people really manipulated us. They manipulated us big time. Wow. Let's carry on with this, Mr. Alan.
Not a $60 million jet. Or maybe you just bought your kids a $600 Xbox.
Oh, please.
And you're
Please
thinking,
no.
it's not the same. But
Please
someone
no.
else who's less fortunate, who can't afford that, is saying, wow, you spent $600 on an Xbox? That's living extravagantly. So we got to be here. So before you pass judgment on one of these,
Alan Parr is going to tell people that buying your children an Xbox is living. Alan, shut it. You really need to shut it.
Oh, he now becoming really ridiculous now.
He is.
And buying Xbox as a means of entertainment, relaxation for the child or whatever. If you can afford it, if you afford it, you'd think. But he's still missing the point that it is the person's money. Not the money that the pastors are using, or the people's money.
Alan Parr would rather, instead of you spending your money on your children, give to him his ministry and the pastors. Give to them.
Well. So
this is daylight robbery. Daylight robbery.
The biggest grift. And as I tell you, he's probably looking to become like that,
Okay. Of course.
Pastors who has a private jet, ask yourself the question, if I had the money to do this, would I purchase a private jet? And that leads me to question number 2, which is perhaps the most important one of this video. And that's the fact that who is actually purchasing this jet? Now, to be clear, because none of the stuff that I said probably makes any sense until we get to this point, I do not believe that the church should be responsible for purchasing a pastor his own private jet. Why? Because more than likely that guy is going to be using that jet for personal travel or for...
Sorry. I need to show something here. Where is it now? Just 1 second. No. Let's see. 1 second.
I purchase a private jet. And that leads me to question number 2, which is perhaps the most important one of this video. And that's the fact that who is actually purchasing this jet? Now, to be clear, because none of the stuff that I said probably makes any sense until we get to this point, I do not believe that the church should be responsible for purchasing.
Okay. So, U.S. preacher asks his followers to help buy 4th private jet. Let me see. Oh, this is Jesse Duplantis, right? This is about Jesse Duplantis asking. So we saw Creflo Dollar. He asked his members to buy the jet. Jesse Duplantis members to buy the jet. Okay, so
saying a pastor his own.
Okay, look here. Kenneth Copeland asks viewers for money for a private jet to avoid getting vaccinated. So there's something that's common here, and that is it is the people who are funding the private jets. This is not coming from these people's pockets. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
Hence why they go outside and now you see them asking. And now what's Alan Parr talking about? It's not the church's responsibility to buy. But the church is buying it. Is this guy, is he delusional or what?
Yeah.
Is Alan
Very
Parr
delusional.
He just, gosh.
It's the church and it's the people in, and people in church. That's okay. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay. God, these people.
Jet. Why? Because more than likely that guy is going to be using that jet for personal travel or for ministry travel to go to other ministries, other churches and preach. How is that impacting the church? How is that affecting the church? Right? It's not. I don't believe you should take people's hard-earned money that is supposed to go towards salaries, expenses, maybe a building campaign or other things that need to make the church run to fund the private jet of the pastor. Here's where we get into it. But let's just say that pastor has taken time to invest his own money. Maybe he has
his own money.
Maybe he has an inheritance, and he has
no. How many have the inheritance?
Inheritance.
Yeah, right. He's just full of shit. How many of them have the inheritance? Inheritance from what? Come on, he's not being ridiculous. Yes.
Phil, if these people had an inheritance that much, they would not be pastors.
Correct.
They would not be pastors.
Yeah.
If they had that much of an inheritance, they would not be pastors.
So true. And they're getting paid out of the, or getting the money out of the parishioners. So, then they can claim, it's my money. Parishioners give me.
Okay.
Because you might remember the guys asked for the money from people, and those big evangelists, they're coming from not just, they don't own just a church. It's people from different denominations that send money for those guys. And then they ask, so I need a jet. The money is coming from the people, not necessarily the church. Although in some cases, different church, you see. So Alan Parks is just being plain ridiculous and silly.
Absolutely. Do you think, His Holiness, hello, good to see you, says, do you think Jesus would have wanted to see that $65 million used to buy the jet to feed the poor, help the homeless, improve education, or just make some kind of huge impact to help humanity? Of course, he would. That's I'm hoping that's what Jesus would have wanted. Okay.
It would be better for them to buy a C what do you call that one? Those big planes are freight planes. And take food to where they're going.
Yes.
And that they will still have their privacy, but it will be doing good.
Exactly.
It's a C-160, right? Those that can transport a lot of freight and goods and so on. That will make more sense.
Yeah.
Where they're carrying food and so on, not a private jet. Yeah,
okay.
Dollar or whatever he's done. But he has another $40-50 million in the bank that did not come from the church. Who are we to tell this man how he is supposed to spend his money or not? Any more than you want somebody telling you how you need to spend your money and what's too extravagant for you, or whether you should or should not get your kid those Jordans, or whether you should or should not take that trip to Hawaii, or you should or should not buy that Tesla that costs $80,000 or $100,000. You don't want anybody telling you that you shouldn't live an extravagant life.
That's not extravagant.
Who are we to tell someone else how they decide to spend their money? So to be clear, as long as the church is not purchasing these jets, They should be able to do whatever they want. The problem is, in most cases, the church is funding this, and that.
What are we talking
The
about?
third question is
Yeah.
really quick, and that's the fact: is this pastor?
So he has just admitted that in most cases, it's the church that is funding.
And then so why all that talk before about?
He wants to buy his own private jet.
Yeah, yeah.
He's trying to work his way to buying a private jet. Unfortunately,
he's working a grift.
Flaunting
working a grift.
Do you see this person flaunting their riches, making other people feel bad because maybe they don't have as much? The Bible has a word for them. He says, teach those who are rich in this world not to be proud and not to trust in their money, which is so unreliable. Their trust should be in God, who richly gives us all we need for our enjoyment. The Bible says we should enjoy our riches if God blesses us with that. He gets on. Right. Tell them to use their money to do good. He says, do good things with it. They should be rich.
Others. Sorry. Why will he? You see, that's the problem we got with this blessing crap. Why will he bless people with what call the money and then ignore others who are in dire need, who have been crying their heart out to their sky daddy who doesn't exist, but crying their heart out, and he's not answering their prayer. But these guys are getting fat
on people's money.
Why that blessings thing show how wicked, how nasty that sort of thinking, that religion is.
It's not a good way to do things, is it?
No.
Shows that their God is nothing but a failure. The ones who need the money don't get it.
Yeah.
The ones who don't need it, they get it and more.
Yeah, and more.
And don't share with the ones who don't have it.
Correct.
In fact, the ones who have it take from the ones who don't have. That's the frustrating part of this whole thing. Telling the poor people, give something that will move God. Let your God go. Just I don't want to swear.
Well, I forgot at this point.
Give something that will move God. What kind of
God there?
Listen. Just please no. Oh no.
Rich in good works and generous to those in need. Give it away. Always being ready to share with others. By doing this, they will be storing up their treasure as a good foundation for the future so that they may experience true life. So the real issue here is not whether or not a pastor or a Christian, for that matter, is rich. I don't believe God cares about that. The idea is, how are you stewarding what God has given you? And are you obtaining it honestly? But here is the whole point of the entire video. And if you stayed to the end, this is where I've been trying to go. Be careful that you do not project an expectation or a restriction on a pastor that you would not place on yourself. See, many of us have this idea that I, as a Christian, can get away with something, but my pastor can't. I can go to the club and shake my butt, but no, I better not see my pastor. No. The standard is the same. Now, yes, the teach will encourage stricter judgment. Yes, but most of what you see in the Bible is the same expectation. The Bible says, be holy, for I am holy.
Okay, so if it's the same expectations, guess what's going to happen, Alan? Then the pastors should not ask people for money.
Correct.
The pastors should not ask these people for money. If we're all working on the same playing field.
Yeah.
We're all on the same playing field, right? So why should your pastors be getting rich on the backs of these people? Why?
Yeah.
So your pastor has the same rules as you, but he gets to be stinking rich while you're in poverty, but the same rules apply to you. Both of you have the same goals, the same destination, either hell or heaven, right? But one is rich and obtaining your money. this guy is really, unfortunately, I smell something fishy here. I smell something fishy. This isn't. I wouldn't be surprised very soon you hear that Alan Parr bought his own private jet. Yes, because he has almost a million subscribers. This guy has here on YouTube. So his channel must have gotten him some cool cash. I don't know.
Mental
It's
and
crazy.
mental contortions. And the first Timothy, I think is which one is Timothy? First Timothy, that is considered a pseudo. It was not written by Paul. It's a pseudo Pauline epistle, if I remember correctly. And I think he quoted from, did he quote from Titus? Because Titus is also considered by scholars as a pseudo Pauline epistle. So,
Okay. Alan.
The same expectations for the preacher as well as the pew. But here's really where I'm trying to go.
Tell us.
Be careful about the judgment. And I'll leave you with this. Jesus says, do not judge so that you won't be judged, for you will be judged by the same standard with which you judge others, and you will be measured by the same measure you use. Why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but don't notice the beam of wood in your own eye? The point is clear. Spend more time looking at your own life, looking at how you spend your money, looking at.
So basically, leave the pastors alone. Let them keep on getting richer. You concentrate on your life. You mind your own business. That's what Alan is saying. Mind your business. Leave the pastors alone. Leave us alone to fly our private jets.
Touch not the Lord's anointing.
Oh, please no.
That's what he's saying in essence, which is ridiculous.
It is
because yes, you can look at the you examine yourself, but you can see that sometimes there are people doing things that people who claim to be ever so righteous doing things that just ain't right, and you call them out on it. And those guys feel that they cannot be touched, or should not be touched.
Exactly. And I've heard people saying, the punishment for pastors, only God can deal with them. Only God can punish them.
That's not so.
They say, leave their punishment into the hands of God.
And that is why a lot of priests and pastors get away with
murder,
interfering with young children that they need to keep their hands off of, and the penises off of, or their hands off of, because it's not only males, but also they have females who trouble young fellas too, who are female pastors. So.
I'm glad you said that. Women can also be perpetrators.
It's
not just men. Women too can abuse kids, can abuse other people too. So it's not just the men who abuse people. No.
Right.
No. Yes, it might be a smaller number, but women too can be abusers.
Yeah, because there was a story where in the United States where this teacher, she did influence a younger guy who was 14. He was not that age to thing, and she got found out and she got charged. Right? And normally they would say, "Oh, look, it's the man." It's not only men; it's also the females. Can. So it's sad. It's sad that these guys come with this thing, especially for pastors and so on, to say don't
grifters.
And time about don't talk against them, don't Come on.
Touch not my anointed and do my prophets
there's
no
no
harm.
harm. Yeah, I've heard that before from my mother.
Let me read. Let me read this by His Holiness says, it's time for people to wake up and stop being stupid.
Yeah.
Stop being manipulated and giving your money to the power-hungry religious leader who owns 2 Rolls-Royce cars and multiple $1 million homes. Keep giving your money to these people. You get nothing in return. Absolutely nothing. You know why? The God these people are talking for has never been proven to exist at all.
This correct.
The God may not even exist.
Yeah, and there's good evidence that he doesn't because of the
there's
contradiction.
good evidence that he does not exist. So all your money is just going down the drain. All your money is nothing but a waste, and it's sad.
It's sad because the money could go into helping children.
Kiko Landzik says, did I hear Polish pastor? I don't know. Polish pastor. Anyway, it's good to have you here, Kiko Landzik. Richard Madsen. Hello. Oh, gosh. Richard, these people are telling us why pastors need private
are
jets.
living extravagantly, whether you are living lavishly, whether you are doing good deeds with your money, whether you are sharing, whether you are applying biblical principles with the money that God has blessed you with, rather than simply looking at what someone has and immediately passing a judgment on them. Then ask yourself this question. If I had $1 million, would I buy $1 million home? If I had hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around, would I buy a Tesla? If I had millions and millions of dollars and
I'm sure there's it was in the same committee he quoted.
Was that?
One of the same Timothy he quoted, the book of Timothy that talk about what a bishop should be like, and I think it's the same epistles. In other words, saying that the pastors, these bishops, these people in leadership are have a greater responsibility in terms of how they present the gospel, living it out, and so on. I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's somewhere on those epistles. So, yeah, he is not exactly correct. No, it's kind of like cherry picking.
Yes, that's the order of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, cherry pick, right?
They cherry pick the scriptures that fit the narrative. But then the same scripture talks about you it's easier for camels to pass through the eye of a needle. But hey, I guess you don't want that particular one here. Okay, all right, let's carry on. It's nearly finished with this video. Alan, this guy.
money was not an issue and I love to travel all over the world. Let's say I had $1 billion. Would I buy a private jet so I could have that convenience and that privacy? See, when you start to look at yourself first, and this goes with all of the relationships that you would have, this goes across the board for your life. This is great advice. When you look at yourself first, before you start to look at other people, you'll then be in a much better place to actually assess what might be going on in someone else's life. Give it some thought. Let me know your comments down below.
So when will your pastors, Alan, when will the pastors look within themselves too? You give advice to the others to look inwards. When will the pastors look inwards? When will the pastors do this? Huh? This is just ridiculous. Guys, just take no concern for tomorrow, said Jesus. Why don't these people don't read the scriptures? They don't read the scriptures. They just cherry pick whatever suits the narrative, whatever suits the agenda. Take no concern for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And is it not Jesus? Who was it that was saying, "Oh, look at the birds of the sky.
Yeah.
God feeds them."
God feeds them. Isn't that same
No, the birds don't wear clothes. But if God does all this for them, and how much more you?
Yeah.
They don't remember those scriptures.
Those scriptures. Yep. Nope, not at all.
The video is ended. It's really sad. Just that in 2022, a Christian apologist will come and give reasons why it's okay for pastors to own private jets. You would think he would condemn it.
Yeah.
What message is your preacher trying to preach that cannot be shared on Zoom? Huh?
It's true.
If this is the word of God, this year is the word of God, why do I need someone to be in a $65 million private jet to come and tell me what's already in here? Is he going to bring something outside of here?
You know?
What are we talking about here?
But as I said, you could buy a C-160 and transport food stuff and medical supplies or whatever to help the people in those countries, and still have their privacy.
Oh well. Carnival say apologies for the tardiness. Finally broke my fever. Finally, now I smell like death. Warmed over and hungry enough to eat a water buffalo. Yeah, I know what that feels like. When you're ill, you lose appetite. You can't really, But then when that appetite starts to come back, gosh, it's like you want to eat everything. You start to ravage everywhere. I'm glad you're feeling better, Carnival say.
Yeah.
And I sent you a message. Did you get it? Did you see it? Show me any standard Christian assertion, and I will show you what parts they are ignoring. And Richard, I wish Alan Parr would do the same. I wish Alan Parr would say, okay, I've got this huge platform, and Christianity has been robbed, has been receiving L's left, right, and center. I would use my platform to try and clean up and to call out these people who are taking advantage of people in the name of his religion. But no, he's here, simping for them. Simping, gaslighting, and just I would not be surprised. In the near future, Alan Parr will be in his private jet, spreading his YouTube message.
That's the prophecy. That's the prophecy. So on this day, what date is it? The 11th of September. Esther made a prophecy. The Afro-Humanist made a prophecy that Alan Parr, in the near future, is going to be looking to buy his private jet or a private plane. So we have recorded, and you see the prophecy coming true.
Mr. Parr cannot do that while he is himself cherry picking the text. Okay, I see. I mean, that's it. You can't get the whole picture. You can't. And when you talk to these people, guess what they will tell you? They'll tell you that, you should look the context. They'll tell you about the context. That you're the one who is not looking at the entire context. But then when it suits them, they don't care about context. They don't care. Since when did with the Christian, you telling me that a Christian who goes out there proselytizing, right? The ones that go out there preaching, oh, receive Jesus and this and that. Do they think of context when they do that? Do they think of context when they do what they do?
Not at all. Whoa. Alan Parr.
I'm not going to say anything, can't even say. I am able to accuse people of that, as no one can show me being inconsistent. No one can. Okay, no one can say you are inconsistent concerning the Bible. And this is what I love about Richard Madsen. He doesn't sugarcoat. He will tell you, but then also point out that this is his own how he sees things, right?
Yeah.
But he would try and break it down for you and not just tell you, oh, just and someone like Richard, unfortunately, the way you talk about the Bible, you cannot be wealthy doing what you do. Richard, you cannot be wealthy as these pastors doing what you do. Because you this is not what they want to hear. Richard, what you do, that's not what the average Christian wants to hear. No, they don't want that. So you, unfortunately, will not be buying a private jet anytime soon, Richard. You would not be flying in a private jet anytime soon.
Oh my gosh.
How the people in the church that does not realize this madness. So glad you expose it, Esther. Thank you. Oh, unfortunately, the ones who should see it don't see it. So, guys, please do share the videos, and let's spread this message. I think I should do a shorter video on this. Just ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous. That is self-fulfilling in the text. Truth will not make you money. You are right, the Afro-humanist. Yes. And that's why this idea that, pastors, they can be stinking rich. They can, if they're truly rich, they would share. They would. I remember a pastor saying, he was told that he was worth $150 million, a Nigerian pastor. And he said, that's an insult. That he's in fact worth more. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He's in fact worth more than 150. When the pastor tells you that, the arrogance, and he has set up a church. He started off a school. He built a university, and everyone who comes to university has to pay, and you pay very heavily. You pay. Gosh.
And that means only the rich person children are going there.
Yeah.
And making money. So he is not helping the poor persons who can't afford to go to university. He's not making provision for them.
Well, Richard, no, more like, Richard, you keep up the good work. You're a Christian, but at least you're out there exposing, the hidden things that they miss out in their book. For every 1,000 people like G-Man, you end up with one that gets a private jet. Can you imagine if G-Man had his own congregation? Imagine, man, in private jet flying to go preach that crap.
Oh gosh.
Can you imagine
Oh my goodness. Once he don't get run over.
Okay, Lilith.
All right, Lilith.
Gosh.
Oh gosh. But the private G-Man might get run over by the jet, right? The amount of accidents he have had with cars. That's to keep him away from
Yeah, exactly.
the private jets. Nope. Gotta keep him away.
He's been hit by 4 cars already, so no.
Yeah. No.
We don't want him in a private jet.
No. Oh my gosh.
Right.
That one he will not survive.
No. Well, guys, tomorrow is Monday. Kids go back to school.
Yeah.
Got to have an early night tonight. Thank you very much. If you would like to make a contribution, a donation to the channel, I will put my links here.
Yeah.
It goes a long way to help. You know, goes a long way. And don't forget, I mean, I lost my dad recently. He still hasn't been buried. It's going to cost an arm and a leg. I'm completely dreading it because he had no funeral plans, just nothing. Someone said set up a GoFundMe. So I said that I would ask my siblings what they think.
Yeah.
You guys don't want to know the demands.
GoFundMe.
I don't know about that. We'll see. Put my links there. If you would like to make a contribution, please go ahead, do so. It would go a long way to help. Appreciate that. Well, guys, thank you. In a community where G-Man has some influence, 200% more, pray the game.
What?
That's heartbreaking. Where G-Man has some influence. Thank goodness. He doesn't have influence.
Right.
Thank goodness. I'm still dealing with a few things, but I will definitely start contributing. Oh no, it's okay. I get that. I understand that. Can't even say we all have our struggles. We all do. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Right, guys. I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. So yeah, good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Let's see here. Let me share this here.
Bye.
Do you have a moment? In this very second, I know you feel the beat. Do you feel the rhythm all the way? Can you see the vision? Everything in this world will be okay. Can we be together all the way? I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing, reaching for something within you. I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing, reaching for something